Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our month of love with Simple Abundance by Sarah Ban Breathnach. Thank you for being here on this journey. And today I want to talk about the February 13th entry, which she titles, Once Upon a Time You Trusted Yourself. So what are you looking at here? Well, anytime I can do a creative project or take something from the book or elsewhere that resonates with me, I tend to sort of do it up times 10, right? So in today's entry, February 13th, she does ask us to go and find a picture of ourselves around 10 years old. So there's a couple things about that didn't speak entirely to me. Honestly, when I was 10, my mom died, so that's not really a time that I enjoy revisiting, although there is a picture here, this one up here, but that was a little bit before she died. But so what I did was I went back through my albums and I found photos of myself at various stages of development in my early life. From, I think this is the youngest one, probably 3 or 4 up, and then I think I was probably like 14 here. This is 16. So somewhere between 3 and 17. And then what you're looking at here, and I wish it was still working, but my Simple Abundance ladies and I in 2018, we got together and we actually made candles from scratch. We got all the ingredients and we put essential oils and the wick and everything. And as we were doing that, we put an intention in there of self-love and inner nurturing for our inner child. Because when we think about ourselves in these young ages, think back to that time when you did trust yourself. For me, it was before 10. And the reason I gathered all these other ages is because I really wanted to give little Carolyn love in all different stages of development. And the inner child work, if you're not familiar with it, is really very powerful and healing to go back and connect with yourself and that inner child that still remains to this day. So I think that's why some things like, you might have seen in my birthday video that I had a fairy riding a unicorn, and I'm definitely a child inside. To this day, in my 40s, I'm a huge Disney fan. I went to Disney on Ice last year. And so I do feel like I really try to foster this inner child that remains in me today. I feel like I'm definitely childlike in many ways. And the child in me definitely needs healing and acknowledgement. So what I did when this candle was working, and I need to get a new candle, and this would be the perfect time right now during this month of love. But what I did was, for the month of February that year, I lit the candle every night. It was usually like while I was eating dinner. And I just looked at all the pictures and I just said, I love you, Carolyn. And for me, that's easier when I'm saying it to myself as a little child. And Sarah does mention that sometimes about when we think about all the bad things that we say to ourselves now as an adult, or the criticism or the self-talk that we had or that we have, we wouldn't talk that way to a little child. So saying I love you to all these pictures of myself, and lighting the candle was sort of like a ritual part of it, and a giving myself the love and the light from the candle too, because I know that when we made the candles, we were really intentional about the self-healing and love part of it. So I feel like I still should do this, and I've had the pictures out. Actually, they've been on my counter. That's why they're sort of a little bit curled up over time. I haven't taken it off my counter. It's actually been out for 2 years, but I need to get a new candle, and I really should spend some time giving myself that love. So in this entry, and again, if age 10 is not when you feel like, if you go back in time, that's when you trusted yourself. Maybe you were older, maybe you were younger, but in this entry, she does want us to connect with that time in our lives where we did trust ourselves. And then she asks us questions like, what was your bedroom like? Walk through the house, and don't you remember your growing up house so vividly? I know I do, like down to the wallpaper and things that were around. I can really go there in my mind very easily. So this would be sort of a meditative and journal exercise to really go back and see yourself at that time, before the judgments and maybe traumas and disappointments and things that happened to you later skewed your view of the world. I mentioned in the last video about when we're born, we're born with the pure joy. And I was thinking back as I was watching that, I just mentioned I love Disney, and there's that movie Inside Out about all the little emotions that we have going on inside of us. And joy is the very first one in that movie as well. And that's because that's where we come from. But as life, just like in that movie, I hope you watch it, it's really cute. Just like in that movie, as the subject of the movie ages, then, anger shows up and sadness shows up and what's the other one? Envy or paranoia? I forget. She's green and she disgust, I think it was. I need to watch it again. But that's like, as we age, then these other things come in, right? So right now we're trying to go back to a time before all of that noise and think about the girl that we used to be, and what is she like? Did she love having crayons, or did she have ponies in her bedroom or things like that? So as you go back there and connect with that, write those things down, because we are going to be talking about, and I forget the time frame of it, it may be in the springtime, we are going to be putting together what she calls a little toy box. And so writing down some of the things like your favorite toys, or the things that you took delight in as a child, maybe like I mentioned, coloring or something like that, then having those already written down will make the toy box activity all that easier, because you won't be trying to remember when we're doing that. So I'm going to read her words here at the end of the entry. I remind myself that once upon a time I trusted my instincts. You did too. Once upon a time there wasn't second and third guesses. It can be that way again. Play with me here, because discovering your authenticity is not a spectator sport. Try to contact the girl you once were. She's all grown up now. She's your authentic self, and she's waiting to remind you how beautiful, accomplished, and extraordinary you really are. What's more, she's missed you as much as you've missed her. I hope you take some time with yourself, and Annabelle's chiming in if you hear her. I hope you take some time with yourself and think about the times from the past and the things that you loved. And she says in the book to find the one picture that you connect with, where you see your smile and your soul shining through, and putting it in a really nice frame and having it either like on your dresser or your desk or somewhere that you're going to see it. For me, I felt like my version of this was to gather a bunch of photos and have them together. And maybe you like the candle idea too. And I think I'm going to put that on my list to get a new candle and at least do this again for a week, because it absolutely did fill me up, and it sort of brought the pieces of me back together in some respects. So I hope you like this. Please share in the comments if you're going to find your little picture and put it out, or maybe do something similar like this. And I will be back with you tomorrow for the day of love, right? Valentine's Day. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.